Happy Saturday, everyone. It is your girl, your author, Carla Townsend. I'm your host of Soul Tie Saturdays, along with my beautiful co-host, Yvette Thomas. And we're so glad to have her back.
Yes. It is so good to be back.
I
have missed you.
I missed you because I tell you, nobody is like Yvette. Because we just have this thing.
Yeah.
We have this thing.
Absolutely. So I'm glad to be back.
Yes. I mean, shout out to the guest co-host, Isaiah Howard, a.k.a. Prophet.
Yes.
And also Dominique Howard. But
and they did an excellent job, I might add.
They did. Isaiah, y'all know him as Prophet, but he's Isaiah to me. Isaiah, he's comical, but he gets his point across.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. But there's nobody like the YEVETTE. Yes. She's back.
Yes, I'm back. I'm very glad to be back, and I give God all the glory and honor.
Yes.
For his keeping powers, yes, because he is good.
And see what a vacation will do for you.
Oh, yes.
I need one of them.
Yes.
But
vacations are good.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. So today, thank you so much for watching us on this Saturday, taking out your time. Before we get into what we want to discuss with you today, we want you to like and share.
Like and share.
If you're following us on Facebook, we want you to like and share on our Breaking Unrighteous Soul Ties. If you're following us on YouTube, we want you to subscribe to Soul Tie Saturdays. And if you're following us on Instagram, please also, you can like and share that there as well. We want you to go to Breaking Chains 9, the number 9. Amen. Yes. So today we're going to do something a little bit different. We have a whole lot of things that are happening in the world today, and also in the United States. And I have some things myself. I don't know how I feel about a lot of this, but if I'm feeling this kind of way, I'm sure others are too.
Absolutely.
So we want to entitle this segment, this podcast today, as Breaking Headlines. So we want to talk about certain things that have been happening, dealing with the government, dealing with the world, and also while you're watching, if you want to also comment and give us your opinion, I mean, hey, we would like to hear from you to see exactly what you're thinking about these different topics. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on them because, we're just going to hit and keep moving. Yeah. But we do want to just kind of
provoke some thought today.
Yes, give you some thoughts. And of course, in the United States, the biggest thing, we talked about it. We had a guest. Dominique did such a great job with talking about Roe versus Wade. But now we're going to still talk about that Roe versus Wade again. The abortion rights. As we know, it was overturned, Yvette. And so now there were protests. There was a lot of upheaval about this Roe versus Wade. So now it's going to be, a lot of people want this on the voting ballot this coming November. Before I do start with that, because Yvette was not here, and just to give a disclaimer, this is just our opinions. This is not the opinion of anybody else. Everybody has an opinion, so please do not be so judgmental, because we again want to hear from you as far as how you feel about these certain topics as well. But we were not able to hear from you as far as the Roe versus Wade. Yeah. How's that with you?
I will say that I was very conflicted about the overturning of Roe versus Wade because I am a Christian and I do believe what the Word of God says. And so I was really conflicted for quite a bit because for number one, there are instances, I believe that people always assume that that women frivolously make that choice.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of people do assume that, but there are other instances. There are grave instances that happen to people through no fault of their own, and they end up having to make a decision. So that's where my conflict comes in, and my desire I want people to be safe as well. Mm-hmm. So it's really something that I've had a lot of conflict about, and have prayed a lot, asking God to help me with it. Because if I'm wrong about the way I feel, because I feel like if a woman is in a situation where it's a life or death, if the woman is in a situation where there has been a rape, if a woman is in a situation where there, again, the life or death, you have to choose, then, if it's not available, then what do they do at that point? So I've had a lot of conflict about it, but the thing that I want to say in all of that, as a Christian and as the Christian community, I believe that it is our responsibility to show some grace to women when we're talking about this subject. We because you could be talking to someone who may have that in their past, and you don't want to make people feel condemned, because there is opportunity for redemption, because God redeemed me. So I don't want any person to feel like they are being condemned, or that there's no hope for them. Right. And I think a lot of times when we're having this conversation, especially in the Christian community, that we miss that point to reassure people that if this has been a part of your history, a part of your story, there is hope, and there is redemption, and there is forgiveness. Yes. So I don't want to forget it. I don't want to leave that out of the conversation. So, right. Yeah.
And it's something that you mentioned, that even today, I don't know if our audience have been looking or following the news. I'm pretty sure you have, but there is a 10-year-old girl, I do believe in Ohio, who was raped, and because of the Roe versus Wade being overturned, they are now discussing, because she needs to, because her little body cannot handle this pregnancy. And it's either her life or the baby's life. So,
I would not want to be the one to have to make that decision.
Or the parent. I mean, we have to understand, and there's a lot of predators out here, pedophiles, that they are taking our children and they're putting a seed in them and giving them experiences that they're not ready for. And then this is the result. So what are you saying to that child, that 10-year-old child, or possibly a 9-year-old child? Because let's get real, these little girls are, these babies, because it's babies, their bodies are growing faster than their minds. So we have to, again, like you said, show grace, but also there's going to be a trauma after all of this, because they already went through a trauma. So getting back to our discussion as far as this being on the voting ballot, we know there's been protests on both sides, people, for it, and then there are people against it. Now Americans are wanting abortion rights on the voting ballot for the midterm elections. According to a new poll released on Wednesday, August 10th, by IPSOS USA Today, 70% of Americans, regardless of their party affiliation, would favor voting on an abortion ballot. Of course, others will not. A total of 1,018 adults were interviewed for the poll. 70 more Democrats were in favor than Republicans. And according to the poll, 54% of Americans would vote to keep abortion legal, while only 28% would vote against abortion legality. There were other questions also on this poll. The poll was conducted after Kansas voted against a constitutional amendment on August 2nd that would have said that nothing in the state constitution establishes a right to have an abortion. Wow. Since the overturning of Roe versus Wade on Friday, June 24th, we know there has been some buzz in the Christian community. Again, we're not trying to, speak against the Christian community. We're both Christians. Everybody has their own belief system. We are individuals. So please show us grace and also show your fellow humans grace as well, based on their belief system. I'm not even going to say opinion. Their belief system. So, the buzz in the Christian community and their views. In an article on Christianity.com on June 27th, it stated that although some states will keep abortions legal, due to the overturn, they feel that many babies' lives will be saved due to the abortion being murder based on biblical principle, and of course, murder is a sin. I'm going to say something on that in a minute. But we cannot overlook the mothers who will need extra help depending on their situation or difficulty in the circumstances they're placed in. The Christian community needs to show love to those mothers instead of being on a platform of judgment. And I believe a lot of the believers in the Christian community, they're looking at this in a judgmental way, more so than a loving way. Let's keep in mind, God is love. And God loves everyone from the womb to the tomb. So we're only talking abortion rights, but I want to take this a little further. Yeah. You're killing people that are alive and don't think nothing of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so a life is a life. That's me. There are some Christians, like Yvette and myself, are a little conflicted because of the simple fact, and I use the instance of this baby. She's 10 years old, and she's pregnant with a baby, and they got to move quickly because this fetus is going to grow, and it's going to. Can her body take this pregnancy? We can't assume it will. Right. So her parents are trying to do what's necessary to save her life. A lot of Christians believe that birth begins at inception.
Life begins.
Yeah, life. Yes, I do apologize. A life begins at inception. So again, I'm conflicted about all of this myself, because we talk about abortion saving the babies, but we don't think about saving the adults, the children that are already alive. When you have, and I'm not saying all cops are bad, but when you have cops doing whatever they want to do and killing our men and our women, not just black, mainly of color, but it's not all of color. Come on, and then you have these people that are shooting in churches now.
Yeah.
Churches, schools. I mean, come on. And yeah, we want to say something then, but a life is a life. Yeah. So my thing is, if in the case of this little young child, or even a mother, or not a single mother that can't afford another child, and she's getting no help. And when I say no help, I'm not talking just the father. There are people that could be in your tribe, or she may not have a tribe that can help her. Yeah. And the tribe should include a church. And a lot of times churches don't help like they should. They like to judge and call them stuff that they don't need to call them. Oh, she's a harlot. She had 3 baby daddies and all this other stuff. Stop that. Stop that. You don't know what the situation is. And you haven't been saved all your little life. What did you do in your past? We ain't going to even bring that up.
Wow.
But that is my thing. The rapes, incest. Because even today, whether you know it or not, incest is still going on.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts?
That's a tough one. It's tough. Again, I want to focus on it, especially because we're supposed to be the example as Christians. We're supposed to be the example, and that grace and extending grace to people where they are, because someone else may know better and have better understanding than I do. Again, I said I was conflicted, but give me some grace. Give grace to people regardless where they are, whatever their situation is, whatever their plight, because you never know that the grace you extend may save a life.
And you may need that same grace. Regardless of your belief system or your convictions, we do want you to know, if it appears on the voting ballot, I believe it will. Yeah. We need you to go to the voting site and place your vote. Let your voice be heard on this particular matter. And don't let anybody influence you on how to vote.
Yeah, everybody's vote is their vote. Vote your conviction.
Definitely.
Vote your conviction.
And sometimes you don't need to let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. So please go vote in November. If you're not scheduled, registered to vote, you need to get registered. Register to vote.
And that's in all instances, though. We have to let our voices be heard in all instances. And when it comes time, because we can't just let that go by and then we have the issue with what laws are passed and what happens afterwards, but we didn't use our opportunity to let our voice be heard. Your one vote does count. So yes, get out to the polls and vote. And that's in every election. The general, the national, local, all elections. Let your voice be heard.
Because they're making decisions about our lives. Now, in moving forward, we're going to talk about, we're going to switch a little bit, switch a topic. And before I get into one topic that I know is going to flip everybody out, I want to talk about this inflation thing.
Oh my God. Ouch. That's ouch.
It's an ouch. Now, I can say, the gas prices are coming down, but it's still too dang high.
Yeah.
$4 is still high. Especially when we were used to, $2 something? Well, let's go before COVID. Now, I'm just saying, it is too high.
Gas prices.
And I don't care what they say. The food in the store has jumped a whole lot. When you can't get chicken wings in the store for about $15 for about 8 wings, something's wrong with that. Chicken. Something happened to the chicken even?
No, nothing has happened to the chickens.
I mean, we ain't had none of that. I don't think none of the farms had, the bird flu took them out.
No.
Avian, whatever they call that flu. I mean, I'm just saying. I like wings, cluck, But let's talk about this inflation. As we know, we have been feeling the squeeze. It's hitting the pockets of all Americans. So yeah, we're feeling it. It's messing with the food, even the clothing, the gas, all of that.
Everything.
However, we know that this past week, recently, President Biden, he has signed the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022 into law. This act is said to lower energy costs and healthcare costs, especially for those who are on Medicare. So it's basically like saying the people that are on Medicare or Medicare can now negotiate the terms of prescription drugs.
Yeah.
For the patients.
Yeah. Because one of the things about when you're on Medicare, I hear people talk about the donut hole, because a lot of times what the benefit would allow, the amount that the benefit would allow, they would max it out, and so they're in that donut hole. And so once that benefit is maxed out, then the rest of the year they have to pay for their own medication.
Right.
So I think that is good that they're going to control that cost, because while I'm not there at Medicare age yet, if God be gracious and I live that long, then that's something that I'll have to be dealing with as well. We all, if you live long enough, you will. So I think that's a great, that'll be a great help, because sometimes we forget about our seniors.
Yeah, we do.
And what they have to deal with. Yeah.
Now, according to this bill, it said that it's to reduce the federal deficit, promote the production of certain goods, mainly in renewable energy, and to limit the price growth of certain prescription drugs, which we just talked about, so that Medicare can negotiate the cost with pharmaceutical companies who are making a killing off of these prescription drugs.
Yeah.
This will not occur immediately, even though he signed this bill and it's going to be passed into law. This is not going to happen quickly, people. It's going to be gradual over time. Also, this bill allows a number of tax credits to Americans going into the clean energy, like solar panels, and like electric vehicles. So my question is, even though he signed this Inflation Reduction Act 2022, and it's going to go into law, because it's going to be a gradual thing, we're already at a 40-year high. For inflation, we are at a 40-year high. Is this going to affect us as Americans with our taxes? I'm going to tell you, me personally, I believe it will. I do foresee taxes going up.
Yeah.
Because of this. That's just me. What say you, Yvette?
I mean, they do say that they are levying taxes on the businesses and the people that make the most money in the United States. That's what they say. But it always seems that we always end up somehow being taxed. Somehow.
I'm when they say this, as far as with companies, they're going to tax the companies more, and people that make a certain amount of income. Maybe it's just me, but if you make that type of money, I know you know how to get around paying certain taxes. That is just me, because you have the money to do so.
We have the money to pay tax attorneys and accountants,
and maybe make certain donations or whatever necessary to avoid these taxes. So, me personally, if I don't hear companies saying "ouch" or anything, even with the gas companies, looking at world news. The gas companies didn't even want to help Americans out when it was going to $5 and in California, $7 and going up. Come on, who can? $7 a gallon? That is a meal, a Happy Meal or something at McDonald's. Come on.
Yeah, if you do it right, it'll be a whole meal for a whole family.
I mean, for real.
You can
do a $7 meal for a family.
You may not have any meat.
Spaghetti go a long way.
But it could, the reality of, what we're going through right now is, I was reading an article this morning about the food banks having such a high demand right now, and, not being able to meet the needs of the community. So I'll use this as a moment to encourage those who, yeah, food prices are high, yes, but if you're blessed, and I know we are a lot of us are blessed, and we're still able to buy food, we're still able to put gas in our cars, we're still able to do what we need to do. That is a blessing. So as you are blessed, be a blessing to someone else.
Yes.
I mean, if it means going and buying an extra few cans when you go to the grocery store to drop off at the food bank or your church's food bank or whatever, that makes a difference. Because I'm gonna tell you, when you hungry, it's hard. When you don't know where your next meal is coming from, if you have a family, you got parents, that people are working and not being able to feed your family. I could not even imagine what that feels like, because I thank God that, I haven't had to deal with that. And that's just because of the God I serve, I believe. But to just not be able to, you go to work every day and still, after you make rent, buy gas, and then not have the money to, and that's people's reality now, the times that we're living in. So I'm going to use that as an opportunity to encourage us to donate and be, let's be our brother and sister keeper in this hour, and be a blessing to other people.
Yes.
When the opportunity presents, or just make an opportunity.
Yes.
To be a blessing. Mm-hmm.
Definitely do that. And we have more. And we're going to speed this along a little bit. We're going to talk about what everyone is hearing on the news about Brittney Griner.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to try to tie this in somehow.
There are so many different opinions about this particular.
Yeah. As you all know, that she was imprisoned for 9 years in Russia for drug smuggling, which I don't call it drug smuggling.
No.
But of course, she's in Russia. So we all know that Brittney Griner is a professional basketball player of the Phoenix Mercury of the WNBA. In her off season, she plays for Russia's UMMC. I'm not going to say the next name because I cannot pronounce it that well, so there's no need. She plays for Russia in her off seasons. She's currently imprisoned in Russia, sentenced for 9 years for drug possession and smuggling. She was arrested February 17th on drug charges after customs found vape cartridges in her luggage at the airport. It wasn't announced, listen to this, it wasn't announced by Russia that they had her until March. And they had her in detention on drug charges. July 27th, the U.S. government offered a deal to Russia because they said these were bogus charges. Because basically it's supposed to be medicinal cannabis that she had, and she was using it for pain. So the U.S. government is trying to offer a deal to Russia to do a release of Brittney Griner in exchange for Victor Bout. He's a prisoner here in the United States based upon being a Russian arms trafficker. I do believe several things, but Brittney Griner, I think this is a political thing.
Absolutely, I think so. Because of the timing of it.
Yeah.
You have a whole war. Well, not a war, because they're not calling it a war. An invasion of Ukraine. All of this is going on simultaneously. So I really do believe that this is a political move. And she's caught up in the midst of it, and it's unfortunate, but yeah, it
is very unfortunate for her because she was trying to come back home. I have questions myself. I don't believe she needs to be detained or locked up. for 9 years for a vapor.
Yeah.
Because if you gonna smuggle based on a vape, something you vaping, I mean really. However, I do have some concerns as far as maybe she should have been a little bit more careful. I will keep those thoughts to myself because again, she does play for Russia, so you have to have some sort of knowledge of that particular country's laws and rules. And just being careful. However, I believe this is a political thing, and since you didn't mention the invasion of Ukraine, and of course, the United States is supplying military weapons to the Ukrainian government. Hey, I do believe this is a power play. Right now, Russia is not really too much entertaining the negotiation of the release and the swapping of prisoners. So
they're definitely taking their time.
They are
with this because the offer was made, and there's not the last news that I heard. There wasn't any response. But and it's really, again, unfortunate for her, but then it makes you want to look at what all is going on, especially when it pertains to Russia, Ukraine, all that in the Middle East.
Let's talk about that then. Let's talk about that.
And I don't believe in coincidences. So I just article popped up on my timeline about Russia, and how on the week of July the 19th, Russia met Putin, Vladimir Putin, can't pronounce it, met with the leaders of Iran and Turkey.
Oh.
And I thought it was very interesting. And as I was reading the article, it became more interesting because with the invasion of Ukraine, okay, so Turkey is supplying weapons. What do you call those things that fly?
The drones?
Drones to Ukraine. Why is, if Turkey is providing weapons to Ukraine, why is the leader of Turkey meeting with Russia? And as I read this article, I thought it was because the fact that they're meeting is it was an unlikely. So Putin is being very strategic. And he is building his alliances. And the reason why this was so interesting to me, because we've been studying the book of Revelation.
Yes.
And Revelation is one book in the Bible, but when you read it and study it, you actually go through the whole Bible. And so there was a prophecy in Ezekiel.
Yes.
And the article, kind of lays it out, and how, it's no coincidence that this is happening now, because this is a very unlikely alliance. They've never been in any type of allegiance, but here now they're coming together. Why is this happening? And then also the other superpower that Russia is courting is China. And so now keep in mind, all of this is like, so what difference does it make that this is happening? It makes a difference because it could potentially impact our foreign policy. It could impact us if they all kind of come together against the United States. Now, Turkey is a part of NATO.
Yes.
Again, so then that means we need to watch
Turkey.
We need to watch Turkey. Turkey doing seem like a little double deal in here. And I don't know all the ins and outs, but the fact that they met, and it was on the news, there are pictures posted, and they're holding hands. like they the best of friends. And we know, people do make it was a political statement, but for all you Bible scholars out there,
come on now,
this could potentially mean something. I'm not saying that it has, that they have signed any treaties or anything like that, but the fact that they're entertaining an allegiance is very,
and they're coming together.
And they're coming together at this time because, of course, the Bible does talk about these powers coming against, not the United States, but coming against Israel. And, of course, there is fighting still going on over there in Israel. They're still fighting for that strip of land.
Yes.
And so all of this just to say that for me, in our study of the book of Revelation, it is really making me come out of just looking at things from the United States and what's going on right here in our borders, but taking a more world view of what's going on in the world, because there's a lot going on, and you may not see it on your local news channel. You may not see it being heavily reported in the news cycles, but there are a lot of things going on, and it's important that we know, especially as Christians, because I believe Jesus is coming back.
He's soon to come.
And our Bible tells us there are things that are going to happen before his return. And to look and to see this and be like, ooh, so, I mean, the article talks about Turkey and Russia and Iran. Turkey especially never being in any type of alliance with Russia. And then now all of a sudden here they are entertaining each other again. Not again, but now entertaining each other. So, it's very interesting.
Yes.
And so, we need to keep our ears and our eyes peeled to what's going on in that. And now let me tie it into the
okay.
to what's it, Brittney?
Mm-hmm.
Because, like I said, Russia, Putin, very strategic in what he's doing. And nothing happened. I don't think there's any coincidence in the fact that they're using her at this point.
Yeah.
As a political pawn.
Well, Yvette, we're going to try to bring this in because we're giving you a lot of information, kind of condensed version. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You're going to have to start doing your own research and looking things up, and not only that, pay attention to your world news, because world news is going to affect you just like your local news. Local news is giving you as far as who's been shot where and who's taking what when and all that, but world news is giving you the whole synopsis of what is going on between the United States, China, Russia, here, there, Israel, all of that. That's what we need to be paying a close attention to it. I want to bring this in on our last point because this shocked me, and I think I spoke to you and I also spoke to my children because I'm like, they haven't been talking about this. This was just slid up under the cover. Now they might have talked about it, but it was not on the news
widely.
It was not widely discussed. Now, all of a sudden, they're saying things because it's already signed. It done passed the Congress and the House of Representatives. So, hey, we can't do nothing.
Yeah.
So, what we're talking about now is the Chip and Science Act. Don't let this act fool you, because I think it's more deeper than what they're saying. Because, we are living in a place of technology. And I thank Yvette for saying Christians, believers of the gospel of Jesus Christ, and know that he's soon to come, you need to pay close attention to what the government is doing and what other nations are doing. And don't be ignorant. The Bible says don't be ignorant of the devil and his devices.
Yeah.
We need to be in the know. And don't be saying, oh, I don't like watching news because it's so depressing. You need to watch the news so you can be in the know, because people perish for the lack of knowledge. And not only that, because the Bible does say that the very elect will be deceived in this last day, is because, and I believe the deception is because they were not in the know. We are trying to help you be in the know. We don't know everything. We just know what they wrote.
Absolutely.
But I have to. I'm the type of person. I'm nosy. I'm nosy. Don't hate me, and don't judge me. Yeah, I'm nosy.
You're inquisitive.
She calls it inquisitive. I'm saying I'm nosy. I want to know why. So the Chip and Science Act 2022 was signed into bill just a few days ago by President Biden. The CHIPS and Science Act includes a historic investment. Notice that word, historic investment, meaning there was billions of dollars to surge production of American-made semiconductors, tackle supply chain vulnerabilities to make more goods in America, revitalize America's scientific research and technological leadership, and strengthens America's economic and national security at home in the U.S. and abroad. It is ensuring that the United States is equipped to lead. We already know who's leading in the science department. So it is ensuring that the United States is equipped to lead in science and innovation. Congressional architects of the act have said the passage of CHIPS will give way to 300,000 well-paying jobs across the country, as well as meaningful strides towards a competitive edge over, guess who? China. Successful semiconductor industry. We are really competing with China because we were getting, or until all of this goes into effect, for real, we're getting most of our stuff from China. We talking about chips, technology, innovation coming from China. You know me, again, I'm nosy. Semiconductor chips controls and manages the flow of electric current in electronic equipment and devices. Many companies will benefit from this act. And they just said in the Inflation Reduction Act that they were going to tax the companies. Now the companies are benefiting from this act. See how the overlapping? Such as electric car companies, consumer electronic companies, the military, and aerospace industries. Let's flip this. However, some believe that this act runs a real risk of taking away our economic freedom rather than enhancing it. The CHIPS for America Act is not about effectively dealing with China. It said that this is just another spending bill that will make America 40-year high problem worse. So, again, they're saying they're trying to compete with China as far as their technology and their science, and so that they can create these jobs. But I want you to notice the word chip. Chip. And she mentioned us, our Spiritual Connect group has been studying Revelation, a deep dive study, and the chip is very prominent right now. Chips, a little microchip can hold a lot of information. And it's so strategic and funny that we are now talking about the Chips and Science Act, And it's, I think it's bigger than just trying to bring jobs into the United States, and so we won't have to depend on China no more for our technology and all of and innovation. I believe it's bigger than that because there's something coming down the pike. Believe it or not, we're going to be a cashless society, whether you want to be or not. That's where it's going. It is said that we should be cashless between 2025 2030. That is only how many years? We're in 2022.
We're in 22.
Technically, right now, you can go to a regular Walmart and they'll tell you up front, this register only takes cards.
No cash.
No cash. And then you have a sign where it does take cash. Make sure you have the right amount of cash because they're not giving you back change.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get real. We're going to a cashless society, meaning chips are going to be, the information are going to be stored in chips. Your credit, your debit cards have what? A chip. We know countries have chips. You will not be able to escape because somebody's watching you. We already know of countries, we have talked about this in our Spiritual Connect, that are using chips that hold all of their medical, credit card, banking information in the chip, and they are implanting this chip into their finger, and all they have to do is scan. That is in other countries. We're not going to reveal those countries right now because this is coming. And believe it or not, it is said that the United States is also looking into that and considering it. Do not be ignorant about this Chips and Science Act.
Wow.
I believe it's a little bit bigger than what they're saying. I'm not knocking down anybody for making more jobs and electric. If you want an electric car, fine. I mean, whatever. But it's bigger than that, especially with technology, consumer products, and all of this. It, to me, is bigger than that. Because everything is going to go to a technological society, cashless society. Everything that you know it used to be is really going away. We can already, everybody think COVID started certain things. No, COVID didn't start nothing. COVID just made it reveal itself more. Even churches, let's go there. Churches are now seeing a reduction in people coming because they now know I don't have to really go to a physical building. I can actually look at it from my TV screen and the comforts of my home. And I know, and believe it or not, we need to understand that just because the Bible does say for us to gather, we can gather together even, it's still a gathering. Yeah. You can gather over the phone. You can gather over Zoom. That's still a gathering. It doesn't have to be necessarily in a building, and that we have to know where things are headed. And we have to be knowledgeable of what's about to go down. So this is very interesting to me. I'm saying we need to be watchful and prayerful, knowledgeable of what is happening in our world society today. We can go back and talk about COVID, the monkeypox and all of that. You know what? That's just, to me, now that we are talking about other things, I'm trying to figure out where monkeypox come from because I ain't never heard of it. But now they're making names of stuff, diseases that probably were already here. And I think it's just to overshadow things that are in the background coming.
Yeah. And I heard this morning about them finding polio in the water system.
Yeah.
I can't remember what state.
It was New York.
Which is a disease that they thought was gone. But so.
And they're saying this polio could kill the children. If it's affecting children, that possibly could kill children, paralysis and all of that. We need to be very cognizant. we need to wake up. That's the word we want at Soul Tie Saturday, to tell you it's time to wake up. It's time to be in the know. We're not trying to put or instill a fear. Mm-mm. This is not, God did not give us a spirit of fear. Mm-mm. No. We want you to be in the know. Because when we find out things, we might talk about other topics. Right. But when we find out things and stuff starts, really resonating with us, we want to bring that to you.
Yes.
Because we believe our audience, we call us Soul Tie Saturdays. We have a healthy soul tie with our audience. And we want to make sure whatever we know that we bring to you.
Bring to the table, yes.
We bring to you. So we want you to continue to follow us. We want you to know that we love you. We are going to wrap this up. If you enjoyed what we talked about today, please share it and like it. It is a beautiful, beautiful Saturday here. Beautiful day. The humidity is very low. We're going to enjoy this day.
Absolutely. And we hope you do too.
Yes.
Spend some time with your family and your loved ones. I know that we've been experiencing, it's been a couple of years that we've had to deal with COVID, and then there's been different surges of COVID, but we can learn how to manage this and reach out to your family and your friends and go see somebody in person. If you don't feel comfortable, wear your mask and continue to wash your hands. Be careful, but it's time for us to start engaging, especially our family members.
Yes.
And so today is a perfect day to do that.
And speaking of family, that's where the unit starts as far as soul ties. Let all this other stuff, any discrepancies or bitterness go. It's not necessary in this time. We need to love and the bond of family. Come together, forgive each other, show each other grace. It's all right to disagree. We can agree to disagree because we're individuals, but still show love. Yes. We love you. Yes. And so we want to bid you a nice Saturday. God bless you.
God bless you all.
And understand something about Soul Tie Saturdays. We are still continuing. I'm getting tongue a bit.
It's okay.
We are breaking chains to restore lives. Whatever chain that may be. It could be whether it be personal, it could be interpersonal, it could be with your job, it could be spiritual, it could be anything. It could be the world news or whatever going on in the world. We're breaking chains. To restore lives. God bless you. We love you.